James B. Madonna and the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman.
Okay, we are back after a long period of absence.
Hiatus.
We were on hiatus, not by choice, hold on. Not by choice, but by blizzard, by nor'easter here in northeastern New Jersey.
Yeah.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Progressive Discussions.
We got socked.
Yeah, we sure did. Progressive Discussions. And of course, the Department of Public Works in our town does the same thing they do every year. They plow up the center of the streets, and they, when the cars leave the next morning, after everybody breaks their back digging their cars out, and the cars vacate the premises, the Department of Public Works does not plow the sides to reestablish the parking spaces. So the police leaves a recorded message saying that no one is allowed to save their parking spaces this year. Well, if you don't save your parking spaces after you kill yourself digging your car out, then where are you supposed to put your car if you don't have a driveway? So luckily in my area, the gentleman across the street who had a couple snow blowers, he not only snow blowed the sidewalk in his driveway, but he snow blowed the curb in front of his house all the way to the corner, which was very smart thinking because it made parking spaces available. So I thank you, the new owners of I call it the Florida house because it doesn't look like it belongs here. Well, I don't know you, but thank you. Anyway, otherwise I would have had to park my car far away. So we haven't been here in 2 weeks for Progressive Discussions. And since then, aside from the nor'easter, we had yet another Republican debate, and it was a humdinger.
Yeah.
Donald Trump did not attend because he claims Megyn Kelly is biased against him. Well, how are you going to be president of the United States if you are intimidated by Megyn Kelly? Number one.
A-W-O-L.
AWOL. Number two, Mr. Carpet Bombing, Annihilating, a Grandpa Munster looking, needle nose, religious evangelical nut from Texas.
Puppet face.
Well, no, Paul Ryan is Muppet face.
Yeah, well, they're both puppet face.
Yeah, he looks like he's constipated when he prays. He squints his eyes and his arms are up in the air. He looks like he's taking a big shit, you know? I guess that's like a Wi-Fi antenna to God. You know, God could hear you better when your arms are up in the air and you're squinting.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like...
see Kim Davis last night, the post?
Oh, God, she's getting uglier and fatter by the week.
He was squinting.
Well, that's what they do. You got to look like you're taking a big shit when you pray if you're an evangelical. So anyway, Mr. Carpet Bomber, that has no remorse, annihilating tens or hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians, men,
like we did in Iraq.
Women, senior citizens, children, babies.
Yes.
He wants to annihilate probably every Islamic country, flatten it out. Mr. Annihilation, it was either him or Marco Rubio.
When I'm president.
I know, but I think it was Ted Cruz. And this, I'm going to talk about healthcare and so-called healthcare reform. Ted Cruz, during the debate, was saying, I'm going to repeal Obamacare. I'm going to repeal every word of it. I'm going to repeal it. Oh, right away. First day. Okay. You get rid of Obamacare completely. Let's say, God forbid, it happens. His replacement, it might not have been Ted, but they all kind of agreed collectively, because nobody bucked heads over it. They want to open up the competition by having health insurance companies be able to sell nationwide. All 50 states would have the freedom to compete with each other, and for the American people there will be an affordable and portable health insurance plan. Now, if you're poor and an unemployed middle-class person, how the hell are you going to afford to pay the premiums on their so-called affordable, portable health insurance?
Can't. That's why Obamacare came in the first place.
If there's no money, and the middle class are unemployed, and the poor people can't pay for health insurance, how do you acquire this affordable, portable health insurance? How do you acquire it? Who's going to be able to pay for it? It's like
more lies.
There's no solution. It's a non-solution.
They have no solutions for that stuff. They just have talking points. That's all.
There is no solution for the poor and the lower middle class and the unemployed.
The only solution is universal health care. A single payer system. That's the solution.
Yeah.
That's the solution with how many other industrial countries in this world, but the United States, the richest country in the world, is too damn cheap.
Well, Rubio, little boy faced Rubio, was saying,
when I'm president,
you don't want to vote for Bernie Sanders. He's a socialist.
Yes.
It's okay if Bernie Sanders ran for president of Sweden. That's fine for Sweden, but not here. Oh, really? So what's wrong with socialism, since they take care of their people, number one?
Bingo!
Number two, what is wrong with Sweden's government and society? Nothing is wrong with it.
Norway, Denmark, Belgium, Netherlands,
and including Iceland is actually a Scandinavian country, because they were originally a colony of Denmark, I believe. Okay.
Dan.
The Dans.
The tribe of Dan. Right. Well, all that shit.
The point is, no one in Scandinavia wants to immigrate to the United States.
Oh, their taxes are too high. Their taxes are too high.
Yeah, well, if you tax the rich, I don't think there's a problem with that. And this is the problem, aside from the fact that the Republicans, shut up! It's the cat doesn't shut the fuck up. Aside from the fact that the Republicans have no solution and no answer for mainstream America and its crisis, its problems, its issues. Bernie Sanders made a very big mistake, and if I was him, I would not, and I repeat, I would not raise taxes on the middle class at all. I would.
You don't need to.
I would boost up the tax rate on the rich and make them pay for universal single-payer health care for all and education for all.
And it's well justified, because they've had a holiday, a tax holiday, for the last 35 years.
Yeah, exactly. And so why are so many people in America, politicians, the media, everybody is scared to death to say the words "tax the rich."
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
I don't have a problem saying it.
No, it's been a propagandized for decades. You know, you fear tax the rich, tax the rich. They'll go somewhere else. Hey, bye bye.
Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out.
Hey, leave your company. Bye bye, because we're taking it over.
Guess what? You know how many small and moderately sized emerging growth companies there are to take your place and make a better product and do your job better? Just because you're a big blue chip company that whines all the time about paying your fair share in taxes, that doesn't mean there's no one else to take your place. There's plenty of small companies that have good people and possibly great engineers and everything that would love to take your place. So, you know, that's the way capitalism, that's the way a fair, honest capitalism is supposed to work.
It's also supposed to work when your company gets in trouble, you go bankrupt. That didn't work like that on Wall Street, did it?
If you can't cut the mustard, you go belly up, you lick your wounds, you accept, you learn from your mistakes, and if you want to try again, you try again. But this bailout of the fat cats, and where the little guys never bailed out, Main Street, heaven forbid Main Street should be bailed out.
Socialism.
Yeah, but
socialism is good for the rich.
Yeah, but Main Street includes small companies, entrepreneurs.
No kidding. And who provides all the jobs? 75% of the jobs.
Small companies.
Small companies, mom and pop, etc., etc. But no, it's the big guys. If you cut our taxes, we won't be able to create jobs. That's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, where are they creating them? Not here.
Doesn't matter. They don't create them in the first place.
No, that's a lie.
What is that rich guy, Hanauer or something? He's got a video. He shows you. He tells you. This is a bunch of bullshit that we create the jobs.
Even trickle down and Reaganomics and trickle down economics was all a lie too. You know, well, getting back to the debate.
All of that stuff forgets one thing. Our tax system is a progressive system. More money you make, more taxes you pay. Bingo. End of subject.
You notice when I went through all the trouble of mentioning all that on our Facebook group that that rabid, foaming at the mouth right winger Chuck Kramer.
Chucky Kramer.
It just went over his head. He didn't even address what I posted. He still kept on saying, job creators, job killers, job blah 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 blah, tax. You know, who's going to pay it? Who's going to pay the taxes? Douchebag,
money.
Douchebag, teabagger,
Simple.
Chuck Kramer. Who's going to pay it? The middle class should continue to pay most of the taxes?
Yes, like Reagan, they broadened the base. They broadened the base so that the middle class and the poor pay taxes. To make up for the tax breaks, they gave the big boys and girls.
Look, I saw Bernie Sanders' tax plan, and I kind of liked it, but
it ain't good enough.
I felt that the rich could have paid, you know, people grossing or netting. People netting $250,000 a year, and up the top 20%ers. The top 20% could afford to pay more taxes than what Bernie Sanders had mentioned.
Instead of the 35 or 39.6, whatever it is right now, the rate, they're not paying that. They're paying 15%. Warren Buffett, he pays a tax rate lower than his secretary.
Yeah. Now Chuck Kramer,
see how much money he makes.
Now Chuck Kramer insists that the rich already pay most of the taxes.
Yeah, they do, but they don't pay enough.
They don't pay. They don't go. They're not paying according to the progressive
fair share.
the progressive tax system. They're
That's
not doing
correct.
it. They're just not doing it.
That's correct. And that's the way you have to look at it. And then you look at the tax holiday they've had for 35 years. Don't
Yeah.
you think they ought to make that up? Because we paid it
You can't.
for those 35
Look,
years.
if you're gonna have two big, huge, hairy brass balls
Ugh.
as a progressive, go all the way or don't even do anything. Stay home. Tax the rich appropriately, like Eisenhower did.
Bingo!
Tax the rich.
And Eisenhower had something else again. It was called the military minimum.
No bloat in the military with Eisenhower.
That's correct. And today, what you do is to get the military minimum that Eisenhower had, you take 40% off of what we're doing now. 700 and some. That's just a lie. 700 and some $billion. It's more than that. It's over $1 trillion. The military is 57% of the budget.
Did you get a chance to watch that video on the obsession Republicans have with war?
Well, you don't have to watch a video to know that. They're all warmongers.
They're warmongers
Yeah.
and hate mongers.
But I'm telling you something about Facebook. Every time I want to see a video,
Yeah.
sometimes it'll start for a nanosecond, and then it gets into the the thing where you're not connected or something, and I can't play them. I'm up on my Flash. I'm up on my Java. So it ain't me.
You know what? I can't open up my software manager on Linux, so all of a sudden for the past few days it won't open up.
Uh-oh.
I signed in with my password, it won't open up. It's just the perils of being on the internet. It's glitch after glitch. If you have Windows, you have a whole bunch of glitches. If you have Linux, you have much less glitches, but you're not glitchless.
Yeah,
You're not without glitches,
that's
you
what
know?
I'm saying, yeah.
Because the programmers and the computer wizards, they're not 100%. They're not perfect.
Well,
And one of them told me that.
and my real player, which is supposed to download videos, it's supposed to, when you got a video, you're at a video and you want to download it, it's supposed to move at the top of the page.
Right.
It moves back and forth. Then you click on it, you're supposed to, it'll download the video. Well, it doesn't work. Now, the other day, I was at a video, and the damn thing worked. But I didn't download the video, so I don't know if it worked that much. But it was, dancing around.
Yeah.
So obviously, but certain things I try to download from YouTube, it says there's no downloadable video on this page.
That makes sense. And your Firefox is always upgraded, right?
Yeah, I use Firefox.
Net Video Hunter sometimes gives you a hard time. Anyway,
yeah, it ain't video and it ain't downloading the video. It downloads the damn ad.
Anyway, getting off of our own personal
off our own problems, man.
our own problems here, our own personal dilemma.
Yeah.
Everything we speak about on this show politically is part of our series. Excuse me. I tell you, that Beelzebub, if he doesn't try to sabotage the show through the freaking cats, he does it by making me cough. By interrupting my spiel, my little monologue here. Anyway, everything we say on this show politically is part of our series Capitalism in a Conch Shell. There's the conch. Feel the energy coming from King Neptune. I'm getting a message. It says Republicans are stark raving mad and absolutely insane.
Well, that's a decent message.
And they are satanic tools. They're puppets of Satan, which I believe. But
well, of course, if they're religious, that's what it is.
yeah, well, their religion is a cult.
That's
Like when you listen to all these Southern evangelical pastors and Southern Baptist
yeah,
pastors.
they want to kill gays. They want to do this.
Well,
this is not God stuff.
yeah, but they seem to be stuck in the Old Testament, where you stone
when they need it.
where you stone people to death.
When they need it, then they use that.
And they love to
You know?
they love to violate the last chapter of Revelations.
Of course.
He who adds to this book or takes away from this book.
They're
Okay.
rewriting new
Right.
translations and all that.
Now, who is this big mouth Republican motherfucker from Texas with a big, shiny, fat melon head? I call him Gohmert Pyle. His last name
He's a
is
senator. Senator Gohmert.
his last name is Gohmert. I think
Yeah.
it's Gohmert. I call them on his Facebook page. I call them melon-headed Gohmert Pyle.
He's a nut.
He's nuts,
He's
man.
an absolute nut.
He's
Okay.
nuts, and he got elected
Yes.
to be a senator of Texas.
You have to be a nut to be elected by a Republican.
Well, in that
Supporters.
state,
Yeah. You have to be nuts.
oh, he's
Basic
out of
nuts.
his mind, man. He has a bad phone to God, just like Ted Cruz has.
Oh, sure.
They know what God's a thinking.
That's
They know
correct.
what God wants.
That's correct.
In them out yonder, in them dar evangelical Bible Belt red states, they know what God wants, and they feel God, I guess, is so weak that they have to do His work for Him.
Oh, yes, they do. Yes, they do. Well, you see that gentleman that occupied the wildlife refuge place the other day? He was trying to do God's work, too. Guess what? He's
What?
dead. He's dead.
What happened?
Because he reached for a gun. What do you expect a federal agent to do when you reach for a gun inside your jacket?
Then you expect that somebody's going to shoot you.
Yeah, that's correct. And guess what? Somebody did shoot him.
It's just like a child in the ghetto playing with a toy gun that is black and realistic looking.
But
That's a good way to get blown away.
There's a religious nut woman who's making that guy now like Jesus and Moses.
Are you talking
A
about?
martyr.
Are you talking about Nevada's Fiore? Her last name is Fiore.
I don't know her name, but
Yeah, I think it
She's-
was.
yeah. He's a martyr like Jesus and Moses. Far from it, lady. He's a nut. Well, he ain't anymore because he's dead.
He got killed.
He's taking a dirt sleep.
He's taking a big dirt sleep.
That's great. Till the white throwing judgment.
All right, I wanna send greetings. I wanna thank my longtime close friend Lisa Cohen for having me on your first talk show, Rockstar Women with MS, about people with multiple sclerosis, and we had a great discussion about autoimmune diseases, particularly MS. Thank you for having me on your show. It went very well, and it will be on the internet soon. I want to give greetings to my near dear friend in Osaka, Japan, Miho. Hello, Miho. I want to say hi to Evelyn Pringle, doing a great job over there on the Progressive Radio Network. I want to give greetings to all my Facebook group administrators, Mr. Paul Neve, Sash Boyle, Anthony Laura. I know what you're going to say.
Is Mitch one of them?
I should write them down.
Yes, you
Van Raven, Mick Van Raven. Yeah,
No,
Mick Van
I was
Raven.
thinking of Malay, Mitch Malay.
No, he's not.
No?
No, he's not.
Sorry, Mitch.
Mick Van Raven. I don't have a lot of administrators because the problem. Oh, the Scat Man. the Leroy Scat.
Hey!
I want to give greetings to him. Great man, great man. Scat
Okay.
man.
All
I
right.
call him the Scat man. Capital SKATT. Let's see. I don't have a lot of administrators because they claim they're going to participate and be proactive, and they're only active on their own profile. So they get the pink slip. They get canned from me.
I wonder if they, I mean, what, do they go to their home or do they stay at their profile and
Well,
do their crap?
when you
What do they do?
Well, I can only speak for myself. When I log in, I go to my home page. My home page appears automatically.
Yeah, mine too.
Now, all the activity that your so-called friends list, they're actually, most of them are acquaintances and people you don't even know from Adam. But anyway, your friends list activity, your personal activity, if you're on groups, the activity on the group. If you own groups, the activity on your groups, what you posted. Everything appears on the wall. The wall.
The home page, yes.
The home page. The
Right.
home wall. Now, if you want to go somewhere, you can click and go somewhere.
Yeah, I can go to play Texas Hold'em.
Well,
I can go play Candy Crush.
hey, listen. This is what I'll give Candy Crush a crush. I do important stuff. First of all, I add new members to my 5 illustrious, very large Facebook groups. I add new members and I get rid of spammers, which I get a lot on my largest group, Holistic Health Talk. I have to get rid of them.
There were 2 or 3 questioners on the Republican debate, and
Excuse me.
one had 2 million followers, the other one had a couple of million followers. What the hell is that? How the hell? And what is that guy, Kushner or something, the actor? He's got, I don't know how many million followers.
How does he? I thought you were only allowed 5,000 members.
So did I.
Maximum.
I got about 90-some friends and followers or whatever. That's all.
I think Gary Knowles only allowed 5,000 members on his friends
That's
list.
what I thought, okay?
So what do they pick and choose who's allowed to have millions of followers and millions of
Unless they're bullshitting.
Oh, wait a minute. I think the followers, the amount of followers are unlimited, and the amount of
Friends?
like, if you have a Facebook page, they can a billion people can click like to your page and follow you.
Follow you,
But the
okay.
friends list
5,000.
only goes up to 5,000.
All right.
So anyway, let me see. Is there any other administrators I left out?
Yeah, probably.
Most likely, but I can't remember. I only remember the people that are progressively proactive on a daily basis. If you're proactive on a daily basis and you upload good stuff and you post good stuff and you share it with the group and not try to be, an egomaniac, thinking that somebody's important is going to come to your profile and discover you, or somebody who doesn't have the balls, the courage to go public with your opinions and statements like a lot of people. Heaven forbid they should go on video like I do every week. Oh no, they got to post all their lengthy, long-winded opinions on their profile. Oh, you got balls. You got real balls, guys.
I don't see it. Because I ain't looking at the profile. How the hell am I going to see it?
No, it ends up on the wall. It ends up on the wall.
No, it don't go on the wall.
Now,
tell you-
some people have courage, like Evelyn Pringle. She's got a lot of courage. She's very proactive,
Her stuff
and
goes on my wall.
I give kudos to her. But there are a lot of people who don't go public, and that's it. There's Beelzebub working through the cat again,
For
making all that
instance,
racket.
I even get stuff on my homepage This group is all about food.
That's me.
See, I know, but I'm saying I'm not per se in that group.
Are you in it? You
No,
must,
I don't
you must
think so.
be. Maybe you're a member and you don't know it.
No, whatever you put on the wall or they put on my wall, it comes on
I
my
don't know.
wall.
Maybe you're a member.
But hey, I see some nice hot dogs once in a while, you know?
Hey, let me tell you something. There's a lot of nice recipes and photographs of food from all over the world on that group. You know, there is, but it seems like, you know, the group that, the slowest growing group, even though we're quite large, is the political group. It's like when you're dealing with the real deep, hard-hitting truth.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
That's correct.
But if you're a nut, if you're a religious nut, if you're a born-again evangelical lunatic, you'll get billions of followers and people will come on air and, you know, or if it's something silly like butterfly collecting or stamp collecting or something, you'll get 1 billion people. You know, all light subjects. But when you deal with what's really important.
That's the way it is in life.
Now, we have a local news station that I hate. It's called News 12 New Jersey. It comes with the cable package. All they do is repeat the same thing over and over, and it's all light subject, like you know, so and so's daughter won the county volleyball tournament or something. In other words, they don't talk about what's really going on in the state. I mean, what's really going on in Trenton, in Washington, international crises, like a political corruption. You know, who's beholden to the 1%? Nothing. It's all light stuff to distract the people from learning the real hard-hitting truth.
And Governor Christie gets a lot of face time.
Christie gets a lot of smiles and a lot of face
Without
time.
any criticism.
And when they mentioned in the word entitlements to Christie, his eyes lit up at the Republican debate. Oh, that's when he says about, you know, cutting Planned Parenthood because all those babies are being killed in the womb. Let me tell you something. A fertilized human egg or an embryo that breeds like a fish is no more a human baby than the eggs in my scrambled eggs with cheese and bacon.
Yeah.
Breakfast is no more a baby than a fertilized chicken egg. So you're nuts. You people don't know the Bible. You don't know what's inside the Bible. What you represent is a crazy cult. And I think what they really want is power. They're fascist. They want to take over the world. I have
It's theocracy.
I have a feeling that
Every one of them.
now. Stop me if you have a different hunch. I have a feeling that Ted Cruz's carpet bombing, the real agenda is to take over the oil-rich, to invade the oil-rich countries by force and to steal the world's oil supply because big oil is probably paying the Republicans to arrange this. Do you think that hunch is realistic or...
It was realistic when George Bush went into Iraq. But they did not take the oil for some reason.
They didn't take the oil.
Cheney was prevented from taking the oil.
Well, you know, I think it was Rumsfeld that came clean. That there was there was no reason.
Yeah, well, of course,
to invade Iraq.
But there wasn't.
He finally came clean. You're
Jeez.
being a fucking pain in the ass, Steve, today. You really are.
There was none, you know. I mean, everybody knows that except the stupid Republicans.
Now the fucking...
The flag is not flying straight.
No, the flag decided it was balanced before, and it decided to go off balance. I may have to adjust it during lunch.
Look, the neocons, back in the 90s, I believe it was, they made a book, The Project for the New American Century. They had 7 or more countries in the Middle East that they wanted to invade and take over. Okay? Cheney, Wolfowitz, all of them. They were all in on it. That's what it was all about. But they got stopped in Iraq, and they got stopped in Afghanistan because the United States military does not know how to fight ISIS, or is not allowed to. Not ISIS, but all of them. Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, anyone you want to think. They don't know how to fight them because you know why?
Boca Raton, Florida, that's a nice place.
Because we're fighting box cutter people with carpet bombing. That's why.
Ted Cruz, if we're going to find out if desert sand can glow in the dark.
Glow in the dark, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we already depleted our uranium. We already screwed up Iraq for who the hell knows how many centuries. I mean, they got birth defects all over the fucking place.
Oh, Agent Orange did a lot of
Agent
damage.
Orange fucked up maybe Vietnam for,
Yeah.
What about Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
That's a form of carpet bomb annihilation with one bomb.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I want to say hi to Mr. Glenn Bean. Mr. Glenn Bean.
Is he an administrator?
He's not an administrator. Okay. I asked him. He declined graciously, but he's a very good guy. He's very nice gentleman, respectful. We communicate often. Mr. Glenn Bean of Wisconsin, like Evelyn Pringle, Wisconsin. Surrounded by moron teabaggers that voted in the supposedly bankrupt Scott Walker that's crying that he's got to go bankrupt.
Oh, poor baby. Yeah. I'm sure some Republicans will step forward and help him out.
Yeah, he'll get bailed out.
Yeah.
He'll sell his soul, but
the soul is already sold.
Long time ago.
Okay,
yeah.
A long time ago.
But
and the mind is degenerate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ted Cruz and people like him and Rubio and the like, they're except for Rand Paul, he was the most level-headed, normal sounding person at that debate. But they have a lot of courage. They're real tough when they don't have to go to war, or their children, their relatives, or grandchildren don't have to go to war.
They're chicken hawks, baby. Chicken hawks.
Like Jesse Ventura says, they're chicken hawks.
That's great.
But anyway, let us sink our teeth into these readings, because we can end up doing a whole entire show of bantering back and forth without any material. We can easily do that.
Beware of the most misleading label of all.
What's that?
The natural label.
Ah, that is very, very true. And also beware of USDA certified organic. Don't trust them.
It does not mean a food is organic or has no GMOs.
No, but thanks to the Republican Congress, they could lie.
You should simply ignore natural claims. Instead, look for the organic seal. It means that at least 95% of the ingredients are certified organic.
With an independent, reputable, certified organic label, not the USDA.
Or produced without genetically modified ingredients.
Yes.
But the showing here is the label is the USDA organic.
I don't trust.
I wouldn't trust that.
I don't trust the FDA or the USDA.
That's correct.
Like, for instance, that box of imported Chinese tea that I have by the company Prince of Peace. If you look,
that's what I'm drinking right now.
If you read it further, you will see an independent organization from the country of
Yeah.
Switzerland
Yes.
that certifies the tea to be organic. They put USDA on it just to be able to bring the product into the United States and sell it without the U.S. government getting on their backs. You know what I mean? They do it, I think, to pacify them, but they don't know a fucking thing about real certified organic non-GMO healthy food. They don't know. All they know is factory farms, drug companies, chemicals,
Fish farms.
GMO Frankenfish.
Frankenfish. Oh,
The Frankenfish.
It's alive! It's alive!
The Frankenfish.
A recent letter protested the usual nonsense about media unfairness to Sarah Palin.
Oh, poor Sarah Palin. Oh.
The writer claimed that he heard Palin speak of a litany of the problems facing our country that few other politicians are talking about. Really? If that's what he heard, then I can only assume we attended radically different schools.
It's like trying to read something in a bowl of alphabet soup. It's all like babbling. It's like psychobabble with Sarah Palin.
Perhaps she speaks in tongues.
Yeah, tongues. Yeah,
Oh, speaking of tongues,
yeah, tongue.
supposedly she licked her tongue on a frozen pole the other day and it got stuck.
You realize how valuable that video would be? That would be the funniest, one of the funniest accidental video, political videos. That would be the funniest political video ever.
Well, it wouldn't be accidental, I can tell you that. It would be stupid.
No, but that would be, I would love to see that. I would save it to my hard drive. I would love to see that. Could you imagine this?
Desktop.
Yeah, Sarah Palin with her tongue out stuck to a pole. You having a bad day? Just use that as a screensaver on your computer.
Yeah, the screensaver.
Desktop. Oh my God, that would be so hilarious. Especially since it's Sarah Palin. She already has a reputation for being an imbecile. You know.
Perhaps even in different countries. Here in the United States, we were taught how to express a cogent thought in both written and spoken form. This involved mastering the proper usage and context of things called words, which were variously classified as nouns and verbs and adverbs and adjectives and prepositions.
I am a stickler for proper grammar and the King's English. 7 bells for the King's English.
It was necessary that these words be strung together in the right order and format to create something called a sentence.
You don't say.
A sentence is a vehicle used to express a complete thought that most others endowed with a modicum of intelligence can comprehend.
Could you run that by me again? Hold on. Levity bells. I'm sorry.
This method of communication we learned was called language.
Yeah.
Specifically the English language,
Ooga
not
booga.
gibberish.
Booga booga booga. Ngawa.
Further, it's also interesting that there are those among us who, in railing against minorities and others, insist that we establish English as the official language of the United States.
Real English. Not an English loaded with slang and street talk.
You mean like, what's up,
What's up?
bro? Hey, bro.
You know what I like? I like the street slang word, very old one, called jabroni. Its definition is somebody who pretty much talks the talk very big but does not walk the walk. They don't back up what comes out of their mouth.
Maybe we should start with people like Palin, because whatever she was speaking, I bet it would have made my old elementary school English teacher Sister Mary Patrick roll in her grave.
Wow. I want to say greetings to my good friend Peter Clausen. Pete Santa Clausen. I think this furnace is Republican. Keeps on interrupting me. Pete Clausen of Bugs in Cyberspace in the state of Oregon. I salute you.
Sarah Palin grabbed the limelight again and endorsed Donald Trump.
That's good. That's good. The more wacky things the Republicans do, the better it is for us people.
This just about ensures a win for the Republican frontrunner.
Is that it? Was that a joke? Was that sarcasm? Or
No, I think he's actually correct.
That's pretty sad for modern day Americans.
It helped McCain.
That shows you how many imbeciles and numbskulls there truly is in America. Americans are
In the Republican Party.
capital MURCAN. Americans are the stupidest, brain cell deficient motherfuckers in the universe. I am convinced.
How can the primary competition possibly match that? In 8 long years, the so-called hockey mom has not lost her touch for
Hockey
appeal.
mom. Seems like they use her skull as a puck.
We so much missed her stylish, coherent delivery and pointed rhetoric. Her moral and ethical principles.
And sipping at the cardboard cup. I don't know what's in it, but she's always sipping it.
As exemplified by her family's arduous journey.
Yeah, her son really is, his name really is Track.
That's correct.
What a stupid fuck.
But he did not see any action.
He never saw any
So he
action.
does not have PTSD.
No, that was a lie.
Yeah.
Track for a boy's name? But they're a bunch of hicks anyway from Alaska. Alaska.
Oh, one of our socialist states. Because everyone in Alaska gets a couple of $1,000s every year from the oil.
Let me tell you something. Like that list you saw about the things that we all enjoy in our country as socialists.
Yes, we are
Let me
socialists.
tell you something. The right-wing conservatives have no problem with social programs if it's going in their direction.
Yeah. Just don't call it that. They're very uncomfortable.
It's a
with the word.
subsidy. It's a bailout. It's a subsidy. It's a tithe.
It's the government. You and me owning something. Owning something from our ground. Why should we let the Koch brothers own something from our ground?
Yeah, the Koch brothers have such an enormous ego that they feel that it is their destiny to conquer the world, probably. To own the entire planet Earth from the surface to the molten core.
Yeah, here's an example. Let's say the United States gets into a war.
Or the Rothschilds. They could have the same way of thinking.
The United States gets into a war. We have to depend on private industry, owned by private people, individuals, to make weapons for us.
You know how many people...
And what if they have business relationships with our enemy, and they say, no, we're not going to provide you with those weapons.
Listen,
Bingo! Bye-bye, private property.
since so much more products than you people in the U.S. believe, it is made in China. Okay, China since the United States, since all the job creation happens to be going on in Asia, and particularly in China, and your office jobs, American office jobs are in the Philippines, by the way.
Yeah.
Since, okay, now China also has the most hackers that hack into all American companies, possibly the government. Now, if they hack into American companies and anywhere they feel like hacking into, then what's to stop them from turning the tables and say, oh, we produce everything for you. You know what? We don't like you anymore. We're going to screw you over. Nothing is going to stop them from doing that.
They are making satellites and missiles that will blind us. You see, the United States military depends entirely on GPS and etc. from our satellites up there to conduct war. Now, when they are blinded or brought down, we are blinded. And we, depend so much on that kind of crap. We can't win anything.
Everybody is, most people in the United States have a Wi-Fi device, a tablet, smartphone. I don't even know if laptops are still in vogue anymore. They might be almost obsolete, but you don't hear people talking about my PC hooked up to my cable modem. Everybody has these mobile devices, and aren't they dependent also on satellite technology?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. We in America, speaking of socialism, we in America have this religious fervor about private property. And then guess what? The property is not our own anyway.
Right.
Because the government can come in anytime they want and say, eminent domain, I take your property and I give it to the Koch brothers. Tough noogies.
Yeah, because they sold out to the Kochs. These people that belong to these web pages, like it might say like, vote blue, I'm blue, I am loyal blue, I'm the loyal Democrat, a blue. We all have to stick together no matter who gets nominated. Let me tell you something. Blue is not the blue of FDR and JFK anymore.
No.
They are corporatists. Believe me, they are corporatists. They sold out to the 1%. Now, I don't have to go on and on ranting about Hillary. Believe me, she has more skeletons in her closet than you think. They just touched the tip of the iceberg. But anyway, and including her husband, Bill. Now, I'm very suspicious of this recent meeting called by President Barack Obama with Bernie Sanders. Do you know anything about it, that meeting?
No, I just know it happened.
It happened right after we all found out that Hillary wants to choose Barack Obama as the Supreme Court Justice.
He's eligible.
He's qualified. But my problem is...
He's a constitutional scholar.
Without a doubt. Education...
He's a hell of a lot more qualified than Clarence Thomas, Uncle Tom.
Or what about the bloated toad Antonin Scalia?
Or Antonin Scalia, who thinks he knows something, but guess what? He don't know nothing.
But what about the corporate, the top 1% Obama connection? Would that affect?
Of course it would.
You know what?
Look, they're all corporatists.
What I'm trying to say is, capitalism was, despite what the teabaggers say, capitalism was always rigged for the rich only. And I think many Americans are just sick and tired of settling for the lesser of the two evils.
Correct. But
That's basically it.
but they don't get a honest. What's much like my brother? They don't get an honest information about what socialism is.
They don't know the definition.
They don't know the definition. They don't know what it is. The only thing they know about it is from their Cold War mentality. Totalitarianism.
Listen, if you went to Merriam-Webster's dictionary and you looked up definition for liberal or liberalism, progressive, socialism, you won't find anything negative in those definitions.
Correct. Isn't that something? So where did all these propagandistic negative qualities against them come from?
Conservative propaganda. Lies. And these idiots, like, I think he owns his own business. Usually the teabaggers that scream the loudest about single-payer universal health care and all this and free education, college, they usually have their own companies and they have money, and of course the poor and the lower middle class are not going to complain about it because it sounds great. But Ted Cruz once again was bitching and moaning that it's a job killer, and so many companies went out of business because of Obamacare.
He had pants on fire. He lied so much.
He's like
what is a PolitiFact?
He's like a sociopath.
He is a sociopath.
He looks into the camera.
That's correct.
And him and his crazy father profess to be such devout Christians.
His father's worse than him.
But they can look into the camera.
Exactly.
And lie to you.
Exactly.
Without blinking an eye.
Not blinking an eye. That's correct. Let me finish here.
All right, go ahead. Finish that. Then we go to lunch.
Palin's keen knowledge of U.S. history can only be an asset to the Trump camp. Her views on evolution and her belief in the peaceful coexistence of man and dinosaurs about 6,000 years ago,
maybe a piece of ass, but not an asset,
reflect her strong traditional values. This will sit particularly well with the religious right.
Yeah, remember the banner of Sailor Palin riding a Tyrannosaurus Rex?
Given her popularity, Trump may consider nominating Palin as his running mate.
Help me, give me strength.
Shouldn't everybody deserve a second chance?
But she's brainless.
Alternatively, after a presidential victory, he could offer her the prestigious post of Secretary of State.
Oh my God. Say goodbye to the planet Earth.
With her charm and winning personality, and after slightly sprucing up her knowledge of geography, she would be an ideal office holder.
You know what she's good for? She should be an official, professional Oval Office chair and bed warmer.
Trump seems to admire Vladimir Putin and defends his undemocratic actions by pointing out he deserves some slack, as he has his hands full in running a big country.
Yeah, and they feel the feeling is mutual between the both of them. The only thing is Putin doesn't allow other people to compete with him, to run against him.
Palin, already somewhat familiar with Russia, which she can view from her home in Alaska,
hey, I can see the tip of Siberia from my house,
would compliment Trump to realize his new doctrines.
That's why Sarah Palin will be great in foreign policy, because she could see Russia from her house.
That's correct.
Good goobly-goo. We are now going to break for lunch, and we will be joined by our commercial voiceover artist, William Hamilton Morrow III, with his words of wisdom and promo. Good goobly-goo. This country will be so much better.
Yeah.
With Sarah Palin.
Hot diggity dog.
Hot diggity dog. And what about bareback brazen Bristol, who loves the pistol?
Oh, jeez.
Bareback Bristol.
The whole family's dysfunctional, period.
Yeah. What a stupid name for a kid, Track.
I'm William Morrow. Wake up, people, because the truth is often, very often, a very, very hard pill to swallow. Hi, this is William H. Morrow. The best way to join our organization is to get your free annual subscription to Newsletter Censored with your gift to support this work. The newsletter of hard-hitting truth and news-fighting censorship and conservative propaganda since 1977. There is nothing out there like the Newsletter Censored in the mainstream media or the press. This newsletter is the very best way to join and be a part of our organization. We're living the end times, so you need Newsletter Censored. Go to www.newslettercensored.com. Hey, listen, for the real hard-hitting truth, you need Newsletter Censored. And now, back to the show. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you very much, William Hamilton Morrow III, for doing promo. Thank you. And thank you, Furnace,
for going off.
for going off or shutting up. But that doesn't mean we won't hear other unwanted sounds, like Steve the cat.
Steve the neurotic cat.
Today he is being very neurotic and vocal. Okay. Let us sink our teeth back into these readings. For those of you that do not know what this thing is that I wave around, this is a weapons grade blackthorn shillelagh from Ireland.
Social Security is not an entitlement program.
No, it is not.
I offer all due respect to the very capable and knowledgeable Maria Bartiromo, who was one of the hosts of last Thursday night's Republican presidential debate.
Wait a minute, is she a right-wing or is she a progressive?
Supposedly nothing.
Oh, because I don't like that term, with all due respect, because most of the people, you know, that's like a person who's afraid of offending someone, and unless they earn respect, they are not entitled to it. All right, go ahead.
But she made a terrible mistake in classifying Social Security as an entitlement program. For the record, Social Security is not an entitlement program. I, along with millions of other Americans, pay into Social Security every paycheck, matched by corporate and employer contributions. It was not until President Lyndon Baines Johnson began to take money from the Social Security Fund to pay for some of his great society programs that we begin to see the fiscal corruptness of our government. Bartiromo and the records readers need to know the difference, because many teachers in our high schools and even colleges are referring to Social Security as an entitlement program.
You see how...
And it is not.
You see how easily and how quick the public soaks up the Republican lies?
Or any lie.
What? I mean, they're too lazy to do the research. They just listen and believe the bullshit. It never was an entitlement.
But why don't they believe the bullshit from the other side? You see,
Right,
there's
yeah.
something that drives them to the wrong answer.
What drives them to the wrong answer always involves a war against the poor. Because when you deny, let's say, retired people or senior citizens that have paid into Social Security and should receive their Social Security, when you're trying to steal their money, that is a form of war against the poor, unless, of course, a wealthy old geezer retires. Then he doesn't need any Medicare or Social Security.
Maybe, could it be maybe the word social in the title? I mean, they do have a problem with that word. You know?
Social, they think of social program, handout,
Yes.
socialism. And these words have been demonized by the right wing without any focus on the true definition of these words. Correct. Even if progressives copied and pasted the definition from Webster's dictionary and put it on the internet, these morons, these pathetic imbeciles, refuse to learn. They won't read it. They continue to be under the spell, bewitched, spellbound by the right wing.
Exactly.
Shut the hell up.
There is something that drives them to the wrong answer.
Exactly.
All the time.
All the time.
Regarding the letter, I'm a successful lawyer and mother because I had an abortion. This column epitomizes society's corroding values. When someone openly acknowledges their abortion with an air of pride as a career choice, it's not surprising that this current presidential election cycle feels turbulent. We are seeing a cacophony of views collide. Views all defined by each person's values, from accountability to family security. And values degraded by a government growing more invasive in deciding what our values should be. How else could one explain abortion as a right, ignoring how it corrupts the values of self-respect and responsibility? The writer openly acknowledges her ambitions guided her decision to abort her child. She didn't deny herself at that point of conception, knowing she could always discard any resulting inconvenience. I fully respect the woman's right to decide her body's future, but not a cavalier regard toward a human fetus. Science has given women the ability and the right to prevent conception, either personally or by taking precautions. One has to wonder if, when the writer looks at her current 2 children, whether she ever thought either of them would have been worth disposal.
Well, the key word is children, and they're not a child until a certain point in the development.
Or maybe, if the writer's mother had had the opportunity, she would not be an attorney today.
People make up their own rules, laws. They turn a guesswork, theories based on guessing, into fact, like the idiots that believed the world was flat back in medieval times.
Well, Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson the other day, on a video, took on the flat earthers.
He gets pissed at the right wing. You know, I gotta salute Neil deGrasse Tyson, is his full name. I have to salute him because the other famous quantum physicists and scientists that are usually on cable TV, you never see them giving their opinions and debating the opposition like Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know, they seem to they give their opinion briefly on a program if they're asked to do so, and they're interviewed just for a short moment. But you know, you don't, like Mr. Suzuki. He's doing a fucking commercial. You don't see him on the internet giving his opinions like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil deGrasse Tyson is out there. He's involved. He debates. He fights. So I have to salute him. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Right?
For years, this country's wealth
7 bells for Neil deGrasse
has continued to move up to the top 1% of people. Real wages have been stagnant since 1971. A recent report showed that for the first time, the middle class, the bedrock of America, moved below 50% of the population.
I like that term, the bedrock of America. The true consumer of America, the middle class.
More and more Americans are falling below the poverty line. Clearly, we are moving toward disaster if this continues.
So if more and more Americans are moving below the poverty line, how in the hell
That's why there's so many on food stamps.
Is warmongering, carpet bombing, religious nut Ted Cruz's solution for Obamacare? How is that going to work? How is that going to work? If more Americans are impoverished, how are they going to pay for this affordable health insurance?
Well, one thing with Republicans, the right wing, they never give solutions.
No debate has had solutions yet.
That is correct. Wall Street, big banks and corporations, some of which pay little or no taxes, have Congress in their grip. That grip grew tighter with the conservative justices of the Supreme Court allowing undisclosed, unlimited campaign spending by so-called super political action committees.
To undertake, in layman's terms.
This legalized bribery, in my mind, has led the representatives of the people to be the representatives of special interests. Bernie Sanders is making people aware of this in the hope they will be galvanized and take action via their vote.
Mm-hmm.
His opponent, Hillary Clinton, is a minor recipient of donations from the people Sanders is exposing.
Minor recipient of donations?
I think it was two or three speaking engagements for Goldman Sachs and for Clinton and given $600,000. I don't call that minor.
No way. And Bernie mentioned it in the last debate.
Yes, he did.
And did you see the look, the scowled look of the witch, of the Gorgon, Hillary Clinton?
Because the more Sanders' stuff takes hold, the more Clinton has to move to the left, and she don't like it.
Because if she moves too far to the left, the people she has to answer to will start to grumble. And she'll end up like a ping pong ball trying to, how do I debate Bernie Sanders? How do I please the people that own me? How do I debate Sanders? How do I please them? But, she'll be going back and forth.
She is a centrist, like her husband Bill, who supported NAFTA.
Right.
And the repeal of the Glass-Steagall Act.
And they want to privatize everything.
An action that helped the financial elite.
Yeah.
It also led to the loss of jobs and paved the way for the 2008 economic meltdown. Clinton's record shows little opposition to these powerful institutions in spite of her campaign rhetoric. Sanders, on the other hand, is challenging the failing status quo with a view to helping mainstream America.
And the poor with compassion and empathy, like Elizabeth Warren. I think they have like minds. I think Elizabeth Warren, if she doesn't buck heads too much with Bernie, would make an outstanding vice presidential running mate. But I want to induct into the Chislers Hall of Shame. She's a former Speaker of the House.
Who?
What was she when the Democrats?
Nancy?
Nancy Pelosi. What was she?
She's still there. She's not now the former Speaker of the House. Yeah, but she's still there.
But she's still there.
For the Democrats.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi telling Elizabeth Warren that she does not represent the
Democratic Party
and criticizing. If she's criticizing Warren, she's criticizing Sanders.
That's correct.
She's putting them both down, and if she's putting them both down, she's putting down democratic socialism.
That's correct.
And that means that Nancy Pelosi is beholden to the top 1%.
That's right, whoever's paying her.
She's a corporatist.
There you go.
So shame on you. I never liked her. I couldn't stand her face, the way she spoke, the sound of her voice. It sounded like the way Hillary Clinton speaks, insincere.
With forked tongue, maybe?
There's something about them in the way they speak. It's almost like scripted, like it's not coming from their heart.
Exactly. And how could it be when it is someone else's thoughts? The corporations who support them.
Yeah.
And not it.
You could tell when somebody...
They're not their thoughts.
You can tell when someone speaks from the heart.
Yes, you can. For the second year in a row, the state has cut short the commercial harvest season for the northern diamondback terrapin.
I know the turtle well. They like brackish water. Half salt and half fresh.
To counter excessive harvesting spurred by growing demand for the turtle from food markets overseas.
Now, this goes into the same category as poaching endangered species, over-harvesting for the pet trade, taking from the wild. It has to do with greed and business. Greed in business. Over-harvesting, make the creature endangered, and then you greedy bastards will end up with an extinct species. Gee, that's really smart business, isn't it?
I saw a video last night on Facebook where this woman was feeding a gigantic tortoise, and he had backed her against the wall. or whatever. She's giving him a carrot. She gave him a watermelon, rind and all.
Yeah,
they eat the rind?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're quite strong. Hey,
that's why she was trying to avoid his jaws.
I had a I had a tortoise almost the size of a bar stool, and it was still a baby, and it was powerful.
Thank
it was
God.
powerful, but gentle. I was able to pet its flesh, around the neck, under the head, under the chin, on top of his head. Never ever tried to bite me. Ate like a pig, crapped like a medium-sized dog.
Oh my God!
But they're vegan. They're vegan animals, and or vegetarian at least. They're opportunistic. Like, they won't refuse a carcass if it's. Hold on. A tortoise is opportunistic. It's finicky. It smells its food like a cat before it decides if it likes it. But they do eat a lot. And unfortunately, some of your Galapagos tortoises became extinct. I mean, because of mankind again.
New Jersey's commercial season normally ends on March 31st. But anyone charged with illegally harvesting the turtles between now and then will be assessed a $200 fine for each terrapin in their possession.
You know who else should be fined? Commercial crab fishermen. Commercial crabbers that take females with eggs. They should always be returned to the water. Any animal, any female with eggs.
What about with sturgeon and caviar and salmon?
The beluga,
caviar.
the beluga caviar, the shad roe from the shadfish.
This must have an effect on their reproduction.
Well, if you keep on, if there's a demand for fish roe, and the demand goes higher and higher with any fish, salmon roe, shad roe, caviar, it's going to affect the future species, the future of the species, of course.
The terrapin is the only turtle species that lives in the brackish waters of New Jersey's coastal marshes and estuaries.
You know, I was in Little Lake Harbor, New Jersey one time, which is about a half hour north of Atlantic City, and I actually helped young terrapins cross a busy road. I pulled my car over and I collected them and I brought them. They were trying to get to the other side.
Well, that's like the chicken.
Chicken doesn't need my help.
That's why he crossed the road.
A chicken can fly over a car.
There was a video on Facebook yesterday with the alligator crossing the road.
Well, I'm not getting out helping them.
Well, he wanted to get across the road for some reason.
Or bears, especially any bear, I don't care. Anyway.
Until recently, commercial harvesting of the turtles had been relatively minor in the state.
The doidle.
But increased demand, especially from Asian food markets.
You know what? Anything that moves is food in Chinatown. I hate to say that.
Has put growing pressure on the species. Department of Environmental Protection Commissioner Bob Martin issued an administrative order halting the harvest on Tuesday. He also closed the harvest early in March 2015. The diamondback terrapin has long been special to many people who live in or visit our coastal communities. Many people have dedicated countless hours to protecting its habitats and raising awareness about this unique species.
I am for protecting all of God's creatures and the environment.
We need to ensure the terrapin remains part of our coastal ecosystem. The turtle plays an important role along New Jersey's coastline, feeding on snails. What do they do with the shell?
They have to eat some. No, they'll eat. No,
The shell?
they have powerful beaks. You know how many creatures crunch and eat the shell of snails? A lot of them. The shell is a rich source of calcium, man. Calcium carbonate. What's wrong with you?
I never heard of them eating a shell.
Yeah, pulling muscles from a shell. Remember that stupid song?
That can
Pulling muscles from a
overgraze
shell.
marsh grasses, snails,
Oh my God.
which can reduce coastal areas to barren mudflats.
You begrudge animals their calcium supply?
I'm begrudging nothing. I said I never heard of it.
All right.
That's not liking it one way or the other.
Would you chew on a snail shell for calcium?
Never. These species,
Pulling muscles from a
named
shell.
for the diamond-shaped pattern on its shell, spends its entire life cycle in coastal marshes. The Department of Environmental Protection has been working with neighboring states and New Jersey Marine Fisheries Council to protect the diamondback, to keep its population stable. 2 years ago, more than 3,500 terrapins were harvested
Wow. Wow.
from 2 locations in southern New Jersey
It's like
for an out-of-state aquaculture facility.
well, if they keep the ponds clean and they're able
Calm
to
down.
Yeah, go ahead.
That raises the turtles for overseas markets.
Well, are they?
So forget about what you were going to say.
In other words, it's not a breeding. It's
No.
not a captive breeding.
Yeah, for the overseas market.
So do they still have to harvest it from the wild though?
That's where they take them from, put them in the fisheries, and when they're big enough, they sell them
Oh,
overseas.
so they don't breed in captivity.
They are not the good guys.
Because if they bred in captivity, they won't have to take the terrapins from the wild, which is a good idea. Because they do it with clams, oysters, shrimp, mussels.
Well, we buy 90-some% of our shrimp from overseas.
Yeah, Ecuador or Thailand.
Thailand.
Now I hear in China they have been feeding their farm-raised shrimp pig feces. But it doesn't surprise me. It's China, you know. They mix plastic rice in with their real rice. They are they're overwhelmed with what's the word? Conservative capitalist greed. Because only a conservative capitalist would do that.
Well, you saw what happened with the outbreak of mad cow. It was due to the fact that they were feeding cows chicken shit.
And cow, and dead diseased cow. They were, instead of buying the proper feed to give their cattle, they were cutting corners. And Mother Nature got back at them with mad cow disease, which perforates your brains. So
The
when
wild terrapins produced more than 14,000 offspring
you mean per season,
at the center, which were then exported to Asia.
it's like debiting a checking account. If there's no crediting, if you're not putting money into it, you keep on cashing out money, it's going to eventually be all zeros. That's the same thing with these animals.
That's the same thing with the American economy. It's all loans. No money.
And what about, from what I hear, that other countries really don't want to give the U.S. loans anymore, like China?
Well, they're still buying the treasury bonds and stuff, so, yeah. But maybe when China has the yuan become the reserve currency, like it wants to do, then it'll give the finger
In other
to
words,
its trading partner, the United States of America.
so in other words, the strength of the yuan. In other words, the yuan is. They want the yuan to eventually compete with the euro, and be
The
like,
euro,
and be the international replacement
for the dollar.
for the euro and the dollar. In other words, the worldwide currency of choice will be,
Yuan.
what's it called? Is that the right
Yuan.
yuan? The correct
What is it? Renminbi or something? The yuan.
the correct pronunciation. Okay.
Y-U-A-N. Yuan.
Juan. It's almost like the Spanish word for John. Juan.
Well, that's J-U-A-N.
Well, pronunciation-wise, I'm talking about.
One. One.
Abafangul, one is the loneliest number. Remember that song from the 60s?
Three Dog Night.
Three Dog Night.
Terrapins had once been abundant in New Jersey,
That you ever knew.
but their numbers decreased dramatically in the 1930s as people harvested them for food. Turtle soup.
Gee, thank you.
By the 1960s, numbers had rebounded. But more recently, the population has come under renewed pressure because of the loss of their habitat.
I've had alligator snapping turtle soup from Louisiana. They can be easy. Why can't the Chinese try that?
In addition, many of the animals get hit by vehicles when James Madonna is not there to cross them over the road.
I break for animals. People, it's another story. No, I break for people and animals, except if it's a Republican crossing the road.
And others drown after getting stuck in traps intended for crabs.
You know what else tangles animals up? Those plastic six-pack holders.
Yes,
That people that buy cheap beer,
yes.
like you rednecks that buy the cheap
Not in a box.
cheap American beer in a can. No, I'm not talking about a good microbrew craft beer that comes in a nice bottle. I'm talking about crap canned beer that comes attached in those plastic
Yeah,
things.
with no box.
Right, the circles, and that tangles up animals.
Yeah.
You know.
And they eat plastic out there and they die. You know, the big fish or whatever.
Yeah.
The species is not listed as threatened or endangered in New Jersey, but its status is listed as decreasing. The Department of Environmental Protection plans to conduct research to determine the terrapin population numbers and to gather ecological data and habitat needs.
Okay. Want to wrap it up? Or do you got something not so big?
I got something not so big, and then I got oops.
Something that's not really outdated?
Well, it's not outdated. It's not even.
It
It's
is,
not even political. It's
Is it apple?
psychological.
Is it apple lickable to
Oh yeah, they're always applicable.
apple lickable?
Washington Post columnist E.J. Dion,
Yeah.
in his column, refers to the GOP as a once great political party. That is wishful thinking.
Maybe Eisenhower and Teddy Roosevelt.
The Republican Party stopped being the party of Lincoln as long ago as 1873, when it agreed to end Reconstruction in return for the presidency, thereby enabling the Ku Klux Klan and introducing Jim Crow in the South. That lasted until Lyndon Johnson began the arduous and continuing task of ending it.
Yeah, some Republican recently wants to honor the KKK and the Confederacy in some way by law.
Yeah.
I don't know what plans he has, a holiday or something, but...
Well, what did Ben Carson say? Is that the Ku Klux Klan? Oh, wait. Well, no, it was Thomas.
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas, yeah. Said the Ku Klux Klan kept the blacks basically in their place.
In line, in the place.
In line, yeah. What an asshole. Okay?
He's worse. He did say that, by the way, but that makes him worse than an Uncle Tom.
Well, you know, it's a strange thing.
That's bizarre.
The Republicans, the GOP, they always give the bad guy the okay.
Yeah,
always.
You notice that?
Yeah.
It's like if the Republican Party decided as a hobby or an investment to get involved with professional wrestling, they would always be on the side of the heels, the bad guys. The Republicans just love the bad guys.
Yes. Exactly.
Except the bad guys that take money from them, like Bernard Madoff. If you're a bad guy that takes money from the middle class and the poor, you're
okay.
fine. But not if you take money from the rich.
No, sir.
Then they throw away the key when they lock you up. See how they are? Hypocrisy is like the hallmark word for conservatives.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Since then, the Republican Party has been the producer of Joseph McCarthy and has enabled the eventual takeover of Iran by the Ayatollah, by overthrowing the democratically elected government of Iran and installing the hated Shah in 1953.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He wasn't elected. That's all you need to say. The guy before him was elected democratically.
The Shah wasn't.
The Shah was put in place by America because he was a dictator friendly to us.
He did the bidding of...
That is correct, sir.
The United States fat cats.
That is correct.
Gotcha. Is that kind of what what Batista did in Cuba? He was like friendly with the United States government.
Are you kidding?
And then the Castro with the Communist Revolution, with what is that guy named Che Guevara?
Che Guevara.
Yeah, I can't pronounce.
It welcomed with open arms the so-called Dixiecrat elements of the Democratic Party.
The Dixiecrats in the early '60s.
Under Richard Nixon.
Who became the Republicans of today after the Civil Rights Movement got their laws in place.
Thereby forever forfeiting the mantle of Lincoln. What we are seeing being played out in the Republican primaries is a battle for supremacy between various unsavory factions. Some Republicans, like former Christy Whitman, who created the state pension crisis we are wrestling with today, are unhappy because they are afraid that those who are not pure supporters of plutocrats will undermine their interests.
Yeah, it's all about selfishness. Me, 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 me. The haves versus the have-nots. That's what I told that guy Chuck Kramer, and he didn't reply to me. I says, you basically just care about what you have. You have yours, and you don't care about the people that don't have anything. You just,
Because they're lazy and moochers.
Hey, could you blame Well, that's what they say.
Yes.
Could you blame the little guy for wanting to back Bernie Sanders? He's only thinking of his own best interest. You guys think of your best interest. You conservatives that get paid off by the 1%, they take the bribes. You're looking out for your corrupt best interest. Well, why? What's wrong with the little guy looking out for his or her best
Because
interest?
then he'll have power. We don't want them to have power. Why do you think we took over the United States government?
Well, if the power
Whew.
equates to a fair society with a living wage, and to be able to have extra surplus money left over to actually enjoy life a little, you know what I mean? Like just to experience a little happiness.
Yeah, but who's going to like that?
The mainstream.
plutocrats, the corporations?
No,
No,
the
of course
mainstream.
not. Well, there you go.
The mainstream.
And the first thing the mainstream has to do is take back the government
Yeah, that's what I mean.
by voting. Outvoting those who own it now.
Now, Chisler's Hall of Shame before we leave you. You people out there that have not registered to vote yet. You should be ashamed of yourself, and I am not interested in what you have to say on social media or anywheres or even in person. Don't complain if you do not vote. And in order to vote, you have to register. And that's that. I mean, I'm an independent, but I had to re-register as a Democrat because they won't let me vote in the primaries for Bernie Sanders because of the stinking two-party system. Mm-hmm. Two sides of the same coin. And that's that. That's all I have.
Be careful. Crumbs.
You see, I know where you're coming from, but I'm tired of settling for the lesser of the two evils.
Correct. But rarely are you going to find an independent or a third party.
You think I'm going to vote for Hillary? I'm writing in Bernie Sanders. I am saying this right now.
Let's assume
You could kiss up to the Democratic National Committee all you want.
Let's
I'm writing.
assume for a minute.
I don't give a fuck.
Let's assume.
I'm not voting for that witch.
Let's assume for a minute that all you had running was Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
If enough people wrote in
Who are you gonna
Sanders,
vote for?
if enough people
No,
hated Hillary,
That was not my question.
I'm not going to vote for.
I'm
I'm not
sorry.
going to vote for them. I'm going to go with an independent.
I just said that's the only two choices you have. You got no third party choice.
Oh, there are no other choices.
No choice.
And there's no choice to even write in Bernie Sanders.
You can write in and all you want, but he's not there.
But he's not going to be there. So
He ain't
in
running.
other words, I have to settle for the lesser
That's
of the
how
two
they
evils.
set it up. That's how they set it up.
Why, they're not going to let anybody write in Bernie Sanders' name?
You can write it in. He ain't running.
Oh, you mean in your what if?
In my little world,
In your what if you can only choose between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton? Gotcha. Crumbs. In other words, it's better, like my grandfather says, it's Democrats will give you some crumbs. How many crumbs? I have no idea. It depends on
Dunkin' Donuts crumbs.
It depends on who you elect.
Right.
But the Republicans will give the little guy absolutely nothing. And he was way ahead of his time, and he was very smart.
Very good. After 27 years of marriage, my wife told me she is attracted to other women.
Uh-oh. After all those years of marriage, a heterosexual marriage, she decided that.
To my knowledge, she has acted on this only once. Every day, I wonder where our relationship stands.
Does he get to bang the other woman?
One day, she can't see herself without me. The next day, she says we should divorce.
Sounds like a nut to me.
I don't know if I should end this or wait to see where it goes. I will need counseling if we divorce, but currently I can't afford it.
She's a flip-flopper.
Yes, I love her. But what matters most to me is that she is happy.
Oh, God.
I don't have anyone else to talk to about this.
Oh, you're breaking my heart.
Any suggestions?
Yeah, throw yourself off a cliff into the ocean like a lemming.
Dear Abby's response. After 27 years of marriage, I can only imagine how shocking your wife's revelation must have been for you. That she is ambivalent about your marriage must be deeply painful, because you are being treated like a yo-yo.
Yeah. Or ping pong, or a handball, ping pong ball.
The book, The Other Side of the Closet, by Amity Pierce Buxton, PhD.
Buxton?
Buxton.
Oh, Buxton.
Has been mentioned before in my column and has proven helpful. There is also a support group called the Straight Spouse Network, which offers emotional support where, after a wife or a husband comes out, as yours did, please don't wait to read the book and visit the website. I think you need them now.
Yeah, but it takes two to do the tango, man. I mean, if she keeps on making him a yo-yo because she's a yo-yo,
Yo-yo
and
man.
She keeps. If she keeps.
The Smothers Brothers.
I don't
When
remember.
he did the yo-yo.
I don't remember that.
Oh, come on. Channel 2.
I remember the song
They got fired for censorship.
I remember the Rubber Band Man.
Oh, I know. No, they had a show. They got kicked off for a while for
I think
censorship.
that was the Spinners. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Anyway, no, they got kicked off because
Censorship.
At that time, it was
The 60s.
So it was a song. The lyrics were risque back then.
No, it wasn't because of the lyrics. It was called because of politics.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. They were political. Okay? That's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. All right. Thank you for joining us. We're back in action.
We're action figures, baby.
Sometimes, due to unexpected things like inclement, bad weather, or illness, or just all-around exhaustion and burnout, we take hiatuses. Not to be confused with a hiatal hernia.
Or a high ass.
Or a hyena. What?
Or a high ass.
High ass?
That's what we used to call, back in the 60s, someone who wore their pant leg up, high asses.
You mean floods? Somebody who created the flood look? Hey, where's the flood, buddy? And because his pants were above his socks?
I used to like bell bottoms myself.
Oh man, you're not going to get me in a pair of bell bottoms. Remember the leisure suits?
I had a Nehru jacket.
A Nehru jacket.
Yes, I did.
They actually had a sharp look, to be honest.
The Beatles.
No,
a velvet collar.
The Nehru, I think, came from India.
Yes, it did.
But it's a very, it was a sharp-looking shirt. Now, a little trivia, if you people don't know, that the design on fabric known as the paisley is an ancient symbol dating back to Persia and India, and it resembles it represents the leaves of a tree, and its meaning is humility. Little enlightenment here, little tidbit. Once in a while, we do give you tidbits. All right.
I am humble.
Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye.
As Billy Morrow would say, hey, bye-bye. Hey, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, those flags, they're yet at waving. Maybe because of the furnace. But I like my new redecoration idea, It's lovely. You see the rose that's black in Spanish Harlem above Mr. Anonymous?
This has been a Mega Life 21 production.